I once presented to the senior class of a prestigious all-boys school in New York City. I was talking to them about how we can prevent sexual assault, and one young man in the back of the room stood up and exclaimed how it was pointless for men to discuss such things since it all boiled down to women choosing to be responsible. I geared up to push back because I believe that men and boys have a role to play in preventing violence, but settled down after seeing one of the young man's peers respond. He raised his hand rather tentatively, but was far from bashful once I gave him the floor. He told the audience about how he had a friend who had experienced a terrible assault and how he wished that he could have done more to help her. His peers followed his lead, and a steady stream of young men rose to voice how they could help. The direction of the conversation changed entirely because one young man had the courage to speak up. Even the student who initially sparked the conversation with his comment about women needing to take responsibility walked up to me after the program and told me that he had spoken clumsily. He wanted to help. If we get past the stereotypes of young men and give them a space to speak, we might be surprised at the leadership potential waiting to be channeled. I am so thankful that somebody once asked me to help. That invitation changed the course of my life in ways that I am still learning. I do not think that there is too much that stands out about me were you to pass me on the street. Get to know me, and you will find out that I was raised in Virginia and have lived in the Philadelphia, Boston, Los Angeles, and Washington, D.C. areas since graduating from college. My mother very much wanted a little girl, but instead ended up with 3 knucklehead boys, of which I am the oldest. But ask me how I spend my time and things will start to get interesting. I have spent the last 2 decades of my life speaking about sexual violence prevention in some fashion or another. It started when I was introduced to the field as an undergraduate student, found that I had a passion for it, and made it a personal mission to speak up. Following college, I accepted an invitation from a prominent speaker on survivor advocacy. She was looking for a man of color to accompany her on a speaking tour of public schools. I joined her and went on to speak to secondary schools, colleges, military units, and community-based organizations. From there, I became a prevention specialist at Harvard University, where I was able to address sexual violence from a student affairs perspective. At the same time, I worked alongside statewide and national coalitions, which allowed me to better understand the effects of public policy on the perpetration of violence.